Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunity.
Thank you for tuning in to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Kelly, and I invite you to listen to my broadcast both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's sub-carrier airways at 67 kHz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. And now we'll jump right into the past week's obituaries from the Springfield News-Leader. Thursday, February the 5th, 2026, Charles Charlie Allen, 79, passed away January 31st, 2026. Arrangements provided by Green Lawn Funeral Home North. Services on February 14th, 11 a.m. at Green Lawn Funeral Home North, Lincoln Memorial Cemetery. Wednesday, February the 4th, 2026, is Zenith Eileen Keith from Ash Grove, Missouri, 92, passed away on February the 3rd, 2026. Arrangements provided by Wilson Griffin Funeral Homes. Services on February 9th, 11 a.m. at Wilson Griffin Funeral Home in Ash Grove Cemetery. Also, Frank Skimore of Springfield, Missouri, 90, passed away February 3rd, 2026. Arrangements provided by Green Lawn Funeral Home East. Services on February 6th, 2 p.m. at Green Lawn Funeral Home East, Green Lawn Memorial Gardens. Kenny Dean Smith of Charlotte, North Carolina. Kenny Dean Smith, 78, was called home to be with his Lord on January 28, 2026, following a courageous battle with cancer. Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026, Robert Duncan Sr., 86, of Springfield, Missouri, passed away peacefully at 4:39 a.m. on Saturday, January 24th, 2026, at Cox Medical Center South. Evelyn Jean Radosevic, 93, passed away peacefully on January 15th, 2026, in Southold, New York. She was born October 4th, 1932, in Springfield, Missouri. Okay, and now we'll move into some headlines from the Springfield Daily Citizen. O'Reilly Automotive's 2025 sales totaled $17.8 billion. Revenue nears $18 billion at O'Reilly Automotive. Revenue at O'Reilly Automotive Inc., NASDAQ is ORLY if you're following, neared $18 billion in 2025, according to the company's latest quarterly report. The Springfield-based auto parts retailer posted top-line sales of $17.8 billion, a 6.4 increase from $16.7 billion in 2024, according to a news release. Net income for the year rose $2.5 billion, or $2.97 per diluted share, from $2.4 billion, or $2.71 per diluted share. During the fourth quarter, revenue rose to $4.4 billion from $4.1 billion, and net income increased to $605.2 million from $551.1 million. Thanks to our team's dedication and to providing unsurpassed levels of customer service, 2025 is now O'Reilly's 33rd consecutive year of annual comparable store sales growth in record revenue and operating income, O'Reilly Automotive CEO Brad Beckham said in the release. Our full year comparable store sales result of 4.7% was at the high end of our revised guidance range of 4 to 5%. Team O'Reilly also achieved our expansion targets during 2025, opening 207 net new stores in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada, and a new state-of-the-art greenfield distribution center in Virginia that unlocks exciting store growth opportunities in the Mid-Atlantic region. The 550,000 square foot distribution center in Stafford County, Virginia, debuted in December, according to past reporting. As of December 31st, O'Reilly Automotive's assets were $16.5 billion. The company had 6,585 stores at the end of the year, according to the release. ORLY shares were trading at $93.24 as of 8:53 a.m., compared with a 52-week range of $85.55 to $108.72 per share. From the Springfield News-Leader, parents suing a Springfield hospital after diabetic son dies in the ER. This was posted February the 6th at 3:57 a.m. The parents of a young man who died after waiting for treatment in Mercy Springfield's emergency department are suing the hospital system and its staff, according to court records. John and Michelle Lubrano of Texas alleged that their 24-year-old son, George Lubrano, would have lived if Mercy Emergency Department staff had properly assessed him and treated him for diabetic ketoacidosis. They are suing Mercy Hospital Springfield as well as Dr. Patrick Craddock and advanced practice registered nurse Kimberly Wilkerson, both of whom were listed as having cared for George Lubrano. The Lubranos are seeking an as-yet undetermined amount in damages for monetary loss, funeral expenses, loss of services, companionship, comfort, instruction, guidance, counseling, training, support, love, and affection, the petition said. We extend our heartfelt prayers and condolences for this family's devastating loss. We have and will continue to work with the family and their counsel to work toward a resolution, Mercy said in a statement. According to the Missouri Board of Registration for Healing Arts, Craddock's license is currently active and he has no active or past disciplinary actions against him as of February 4th, 2026. The National Council of State Boards of Nursing also indicated that Wilkerson has an active APRN license and that she is unencumbered or has full unrestricted license to practice as of February 4th. According to court records, George Lubrano had type 1 diabetes and used an insulin pump as well as a Dexcom continuous glucose monitor. When he entered the Mercy Emergency Department on December 16, 2024, Lubrano reported he was vomiting, had lower back spasms, and that his glucose level was over 500. Despite displaying symptoms of diabetic ketoacidosis, a condition where there is not enough insulin and the body begins to break down fat as fuel, releasing acids called ketones, the court records indicate that Lubrano did not receive treatment from the time he arrived at 2:43 p.m. until he began to experience cardiac arrest at 5:35 p.m., at which point the doctors attempted to resuscitate him. Lubrano was pronounced dead at 6:01 p.m., December 16, 2024. According to the National Institutes of Health's resources Medline Plus, treatment for diabetic ketoacidosis includes insulin and fluids, and most people respond to treatment within 24 hours. If left untreated, it can result in serious illness or death. Okay, it might take me a second to find another one here. All right. From Stephen Quinn, February 6th, 3:46 a.m. this morning. 500 plus Missourians wait in jail for court-ordered mental health services. The number of Missourians waiting in jail for services from the state's mental health department continues to rise, with a backlog of more than 500 people with stalled cases. None of the people on the wait list have been convicted of the crime that led to their incarceration. They were found incompetent to stand trial due to mental health disorders or cognitive disabilities and court-ordered to receive treatment from the Missouri Department of Mental Health. Mental Health Director Valerie Hune told state lawmakers Wednesday, February 4th, that 528 people are currently waiting for spots in state psychiatric hospitals for these services and treatments, which are called competency restoration. While some of them may be out on bond in their communities, they are most likely in jail cells, Hune told the Senate Appropriations Committee. And her last name is spelled H-U-H-N, Hune. They wait an average of 14 months to be admitted to a hospital after a judge commits them to the department. The statewide average number of people on the wait list in January was 518, an increase from 505 in December, according to data shared by the department with The Independent. In September, that number was 487. The wait list has more than doubled in size since July of 2023. With several bills filed this year designed to shrink the backlog and a federal lawsuit alleging that the department has turned jails into de facto mental health wards, state lawmakers asked Hune what could address the problem. She said the department hopes to use $6.1 million set aside in Governor Mike Kehoe's proposed budget for fiscal year 2027 to provide outpatient competency restoration treatment to 50 individuals. Kehoe also recommended appropriation of an additional $3.1 million for this outpatient treatment in the current fiscal year. A 2023 law authorized the department to provide jail-based and outpatient competency restoration services, but outpatient competency restoration services were not funded until the current fiscal year. The department launched 4 jail-based pilot programs in the last 2 years in St. Louis City and County, along with Jackson and Clay counties. But law enforcement officials involved in those pilots have reported mixed results, and a spokesperson for the Clay County Sheriff's Office told The Independent in December that the agency would terminate its agreement with the department after its backlog failed to decrease. Hune also told lawmakers that the department is exploring options to give courts alternatives to ruling people incompetent to stand trial. State lawmakers are also proposing ways to keep Missourians off the incompetency wait list. A bill filed by Republican State Senator Cindy Crawford of Bolivar would allow judges to ask the department to refer defendants to community mental health treatment services rather than rule them incompetent to stand trial. Only defendants charged with nonviolent misdemeanors would be eligible, and the court would dismiss their charges upon successful completion of treatment services. This gives judges the opportunity to go the route that allows you to just get treatment in the community, which is what you really need, Hune said. While discussing these options, state lawmakers raised concerns about the possibility that the waitlist will continue to grow and the potential cost to the state of the federal lawsuit. Democratic State Senator Maggie Nuremberg of Kansas City who is sponsoring a bill that would establish guidelines for court-ordered involuntary outpatient treatment before a person is charged with a crime, described the backlog as a huge, huge, huge concern. It's really hard for me to fathom, Nuremberg said. Nurrenbern, Nuremberg, said that we really continue to have individuals who are being held, quite frankly, unconstitutionally because they're not competent to stand trial. This story was first published at MissouriIndependent.com. Okay, let's find another one. Okay, little happier news. A traveling American Revolution exhibit to stop in Springfield in March, February 6th. This is Marta Mies from the Springfield News-Leader. To mark the start of celebrating 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, a traveling exhibit on the American Revolution will stop in the Queen City in March. The pop-up exhibition, dubbed the American Revolution Experience, is a collaborative project between the American Battlefield Trust and the Daughters of the American Revolution. The exhibit will make its way to historic Greene County Courthouse at 940 North Boonville Avenue in early March. An opening ceremony for the exhibit will be held from 2 to 4 p.m. Sunday, March 8th. The event, which is free and open to the public, will feature the Color Guard in their Revolutionary War uniforms of the Ozark Mountain chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution and Peyton Rice from the Quapaw Nation and a member of the Ponca, Sac, and Fox tribes performing the grass dance in full regalia. Opening remarks will be delivered by Renee Pace, Chair of the America 250 Missouri Commission and Curator General for the Daughters of the American Revolution. Live music will be part of the program from 2 to 2:30. Refreshments will be available following the program. The exhibit includes interactive digital kiosks and a display panel that tells stories of the people and places that shaped the birth of the United States through illustration, technology, artifacts, and primary accounts. The exhibit will remain on display and open to the public from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays from March 9th through the 17th. Those wishing to schedule a visit for 10 or more people are asked to contact Pat Haas, Haas, the chair of the America 250 Committee for the Rachel Donaldson chapter of the DAR at plhaas1@att.net. Okay. Okay, from the Springfield Daily Citizen. This is from Zoe McIntyre. How adding another Highway 65 exit in Ozark could shape development in Christian County. A proposed interchange at Longview Road made it to the Ozark Transportation Organization's 5-year list of properties again, although it is at least a few years away from potentially being funded. Cresting the hills south of the Highway 6560 interchange, Ozark is about 3 miles away. There are 3 opportunities to enter the city from the highway. The first 2 interchanges are routes CC and 14 or Jackson Street. The exit at State Highway F or South Street is the last opportunity to hit a fast food or coffee drive-through before the highway leads into the billboard-dotted hills towards Branson. A 4th exit at Route EE is also within Ozark city limits, although the surrounding farmland is not. Kristen Hazeltine, CEO of the economic development group Show Me Christian County, said people in her office have spoken to area transportation leaders about creating another interchange in Ozark for more than a decade. I think the fact that the Ozarks Transportation Organization has been involved in the conversation for so long, it has of course been talked about with leadership, probably even at the state level, Hazeltine said. Business leaders identified Longview Road, 1.5 miles south of Highway CC, as an ideal location for another interchange. It was a big win when OTO added the Longview interchange to its State Transportation Improvement Program priorities list in 2019, Hazeltine said. The project was included again in the 2027 to 2031 list of priorities OTO adopted in November of 2025. It will likely be several years before the funding could be secured for the proposed interchange, but officials in Ozark and Nixa are already planning for the potential impact. What will it take to create a new exit? The cost associated with building a highway interchange can vary significantly, explained OTO Executive Director Sarah Fields. She said $30 million is an estimate. The proposed interchange is not the most urgent need right now, Fields said. She sees it as more of an economic development project than a transportation need. The OTO assesses the property of projects based on factors like safety, traffic volume, congestion, and road conditions. Economic development is also a factor. Fields stated her organization is taking crashes on Highway 65 into account. If studies demonstrate congestion on other thoroughfares would be alleviated by the Longview interchange, OTO would also take that into consideration. OTO has already selected the projects it will complete through 2030, Fields said, and Longview Road was not one of these selections. Most years, only 1 or 2 projects can be funded. It has been almost 30 years since a new interchange was built in Ozark. The exits at Route F and EE were built in 1997, according to MoDOT's Southwest District Communications Manager Jennifer Williams. Interchanges at routes CC and 14 came online in 1987 and 1976, respectively. Ozark's officials see a boon for development. Ozark adopted its Onward Ozark plan in January of 2025. It includes a proposal for mixed-use development dubbed the Enterprise District, which would capitalize on the proposed interchange at Longview Road. The Onward Ozark plan says the Enterprise District should be promoted and marketed as an essential activity center of Ozark and the region. It would incorporate a variety of land uses, including green space for a sports park, commercial space, and residential areas. According to the plan, this area could become a major economic engine for the city, supported by the new interchange, which would be located on the west side of the Enterprise District. Based on the Onward Ozark plan and records from the Christian County Assessor's Office, the proposed development would be about 200 acres in size. The land has not yet been annexed to the city. It is divided into several parcels owned by different companies, according to Assessor's Office records. Outside of the proposed district, the interchange could benefit other areas of Ozark and Nixa. Ozark Public Works Director Jeremy Parsons pointed to acres of undeveloped land around the area of Longview Road. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but an interchange does lend itself to better accessibility and opportunities in that area, and we see it as another east-west connector to Nixa, he said. We're trying to look at that as a northern Christian County benefit because a lot of people sometimes don't want to drive 160 if they can take 65, which is now a 6-lane road, and pull off Longview. Longview connects right into Main Street, Nixa. Longview interchange could spur North Street improvements. Longview Road terminates on Fremont Road where Nixa's North Street begins. Although traffic studies have not analyzed the potential impact of a new interchange, officials in both Ozark and Nixa expect it would change traffic patterns. That would flow directly into our city on North Street, which is obviously something that we're watching because we're going to have to consider impacts of that, said Nixa City Administrator Jimmy Lyles. Working with OTO, Nixa previously identified North Street as a corridor that needs to be improved for better functionality. The hilly street is a connection to the community center and junior high, Century Elementary, and High Point Elementary Summit Intermediate schools. The city used federal funds to create a design for North Street improvements. That project is going to consist of a lot of fills and cuts in the grading simply because of the peaks and valleys in there, said Street Department Superintendent Jeff Roussell, Roussell. We want to improve sight distance. We want to provide some kind of pedestrian accommodation for that, and I believe there will be a 4-foot sidewalk on one side and then a wider trail on the other side. According to Roussell, the estimated cost for the project when it was initially designed was around $6 to $7 million. Based on the inflation of infrastructure expenses, he believes it could cost about $12 million today. Securing a source of funding for the project is the next step, said Travis Cossey, Interim Director of Utilities and Public Works. There will come a time, if there's a large investment in another intersection or something that will bring that traffic in, that will certainly elevate that need to guide NICSA towards trying to get that improvement accomplished, Kasi said. The street department recently started work on a smaller project that will tie into future North Street pedestrian improvements. On January 13th, Nixa City Council adopted a resolution allowing the street department to solicit bids for a new multi-use trail on Cheyenne Road. Nixa budgeted $1.2 million for the project in its most recent capital improvement plan and received a grant through the federal government that will reimburse 80% of the expense. The trail will span about 3,000 feet along parts of Cheyenne Road and North Street, connecting High Point Elementary and Summit Intermediate to Cheyenne Valley subdivisions. Roussel expects it will be completed before the end of 2026. Zoe McIntyre was born and raised in the Springfield area. She covers Springfield's surrounding communities like Nixa, Ozark, and Republic. While a student at Evangel University, she enjoyed working on staff at the school's radio station and newspaper, where she served as editor-in-chief for 1 year. When she isn't persuading her friends to read more news, she enjoys cooking and thrifting. Okay. Also from let's see. From the Springfield Daily Citizen. Also from Ozark and Zoe McIntyre. Waffle House considers 2 possible Ozark locations. Waffle House is considering a possible future location in the Ozark Marketplace development, where McDonald's, Casey's, and Plaza Tire Service have closed on lots. Waffle House now appears on the City of Ozark's project tracker with plans pending review at 2 locations, 1201 State Highway NN and 1903 West Waverly Street in the Ozark Marketplace development. Community Development Director Randall Whitman told the Daily Citizen in an email that both potential locations are under review, but there isn't a permit or plan approval issued that commits the applicant or city to anything conclusively at this time. The city is reviewing plans that would include adjustments to the Ozark Marketplace development to accommodate a Waffle House, Whitman stated. And Aldi was the first business to open in this community improvement district in late 2025. McDonald's and Casey's have also closed on marketplace lots and are nearly permit ready, according to Whitman. Plaza Tire Service is developing a new location adjacent to the Aldi. A crew of people were at work on a new building when a Daily Citizen reporter visited the site on Tuesday. Dutch Brothers was also part of discussions with the Ozark Marketplace developer in 2025, although the coffee chain is not listed on the city's project tracker. Whitman said Wednesday he could not confirm at this time that Dutch Brothers is coming to Ozark. From the Springfield Daily Citizen. Springfield motorcyclist charged with manslaughter in a deadly 6-vehicle crash. The crash killed 1 person and seriously injured 3, including the suspect. Scotty Smith of Springfield was booked into Christian County Jail on January 27th. He is accused of causing a 6-vehicle crash on Highway 160 about 5 miles south of Nixa in May 2025. The collision claimed 1 life and seriously injured 3 people, including Smith. According to court documents, Smith has an extensive traffic conviction history and was previously convicted of 3 counts of resisting arrest or detention. On the evening of May 8, 2025, Smith and another man were traveling north on Highway 160 on motorcycles. They were riding with a large group of motorcyclists who were ahead of them on the 2-lane highway, a probable cause statement says. The 2 motorcyclists attempted to pass a northbound car in front of them. As Smith crossed into the southbound lane of traffic, he struck a southbound Pontiac Firebird, the document states. The other motorcyclist then struck Smith. The Firebird began skidding and crossed into the northbound lane, striking a pickup truck head-on, according to the statement. The driver of the Firebird was pronounced dead at the scene by Christian County coroner. Neither available court documents nor the MSHP crash report available online lists the victim's name. After the collision, Smith slid off the left side of the road while the second motorcycle struck the northbound vehicle they were trying to pass, landing on the right side. A sixth vehicle was struck by debris. Smith, the second motorcyclist, and the pickup truck driver were transported to an area hospital with serious injuries, according to the statement. The Missouri State Highway Patrol trooper who responded to the crash issued Smith several citations. The suspect allegedly drove without a license. At the time of the crash, Smith's driver's license was suspended with 4 active cases, and he had 2 prior convictions for driving while suspended, according to the probable cause statement. The trooper noted that Smith did not have an endorsement to operate a motorcycle. The 2015 Harley-Davidson Smith was driving was not titled to him, the document says. The bike allegedly displayed an Alabama motorcycle plate registered to another vehicle, which had a Missouri 2025 tab affixed to it. Smith is charged with involuntary manslaughter, driving with a suspended license, and driving without a valid license. He's being held in Christian County Jail on a $50,000 bond. All right. From the Springfield Daily Citizen. Eden Village 3D printer lawsuit moves to Utah as a 55-page list of sellers' conditions becomes a sticking point. Eden Village signed an invoice for a robotic printer that made mention of the seller's universal terms of purchase, which requires that the printers be guarded night and day and that operators must wear clothing with a Mudbots logo. There's a site, a picture, where dirt work's being done, and this was expected to be the site of Eden Village 3. The nonprofit is in a legal battle with the Utah company that makes 3D robotic printers. Eden Village bought 2 of them. This story is by Steve Pokin. It's been more than 3 years since community leaders gathered in Northwest Springfield to break ground on Eden Village 3, the nonprofit Gathering Tree's third tiny home community aimed at getting homeless people into permanent homes. But few signs of progress are visible at the property on West High Street, just west of Kansas Expressway, where there's a handful of idle construction vehicles, leveled dirt, but no structures. Work has been at a virtual standstill since Eden Village in 2024 sued Mudbots, a Utah-based company that makes high-tech 3D printers, equipment that Eden Village purchased and planned to use to build the tiny home community. Eden Village has said the printers didn't work as promised, while Mudbots alleged Eden Village wasn't using them right. 2 years later, the case is still mired in litigation, and the focus is now on 55 pages of elaborate seller's conditions that Eden Village was apparently not aware of at the time it purchased the printers from Mudbots for about $1.6 million. Mudbots wants to make sure that the failed projects are not disclosed to the public. The requirement includes that the purchased printers must be guarded night and day, that anyone operating them must wear clothing with a Mudbots logo, and that if a construction project is a failure as deemed by Mudbots, Eden Village agrees to pay a $50,000 fine if the public finds out. Eden Village had planned for the printers used in concrete construction to build 12 duplexes or 24 housing units for Eden Village 3 on the 4.25-acre site at 2419 West High Street. Mudbots calls the 55-page document its universal terms of purchase. It covers a multitude of requirements on how Eden Village can and can't use the printers, which it bought in January of 2023. Those requirements, according to court documents filed by Mudbots, includes: sites and printers need to be guarded night and day. Buyer warrants that the printer will not be unattended at any time. Buyer will provide and require print and finishing team to wear safety vests or shirts clearly representing Mudbot's logo when operating the printer. Buyer warrants that they will not perform work or move the printer outside of the stated area without written permission of the seller. Buyer acknowledges that printers are equipped with GPS and the seller is able to track the location as a means to confirm compliance. Buyer acknowledges that the printer and accessories will not be operated without a certified pilot having been trained by the seller. Training for replacement pilots will be scheduled during the new customer trainings in Utah. Cost for subsequent pilot training is $2,500. Buyer acknowledges that failed prints that become public will cause irrefutable harm to the seller and cause customers of the seller. Buyer agrees to take all necessary precautions to restrict and protect against public and or media disclosure of print failure. Buyer further agrees to damages in the amount of $50,000 should any print failure or print of questionable quality become public. Buyer grants seller full authority to determine in seller's sole discretion if a failure has occurred and whether to levy a fine. Buyer agrees that they will prevent ex-employees and or partners from working for other companies that use a competing printer system. Eden Village signed the invoice, but there was mention of other terms of purchase. The Springfield Daily Citizen contacted Nate Schlueter, Schlueter, the Chief Visionary Officer at Eden Village, for comments on the ongoing litigation. Schlueter preferred that any information come from Ben Stringer, the Springfield attorney representing Eden Village. Stringer said he is working with attorneys in Utah on behalf of Eden Village. The case was transferred from Springfield to Utah at the request of Mudbots. Stringer would not comment. A review of documents filed by Mudbots in this case shows that Schlueter signed an invoice for a printer. That invoice had a subhead, Terms of Purchase, with the following words underneath it. In addition to this invoice, the purchase will be governed by the conditions represented in the Universal Terms of Purchase and Training Terms available at www.mudbots.com/terms. But there is no signature from anyone from the gathering tree on the copy of Mudbots' Universal Terms of Purchase submitted in the court record. The documents submitted to the court include several handwritten comments such as refused or failed, indicating that Eden Village, once it was aware of the requirements, has not complied with many of them in view of Mudbots. There's an Illinois company in a similar position. An Illinois company named Ascend Construction Solutions is also involved in federal litigation with Mudbots. The issue in that lawsuit is the same as it is with Eden Village, Mudbots' Universal Terms of Purchase. Stringer, representing Eden Village, is also one of the attorneys representing Ascend. Ascend backed out of the purchase of a robotic printer from Mudbots and put a hold on a $328,364 down payment check after learning of the Universal Terms of Purchase. Mudbots then sued Ascend, which filed a countersuit. Mudbots alleges that it was officials at Eden Village who informed the Illinois company about the 55-page Universal Terms of Purchase. As mentioned, Stringer would not comment. Ascend says Mudbots never disclosed that there was a 55-page Universal Terms of Purchase until Ascend wrote the check to cover half the cost. According to Ascend, Mudbots waited until after it had collected $328,364 check from Ascend to send owner Jordan Clark the printer invoice that disclosed in fine print that Ascend's purchase of the subject printer will be governed by the conditions represented in the Universal Terms of Purchase and Training Terms available at mudbots.com/terms. According to Ascend from federal court documents, the Universal Terms of Purchase is a 55-page document that purports to convert Ascend's purchase of the subject printer into a punitive licensing agreement, one that significantly limits how Ascend can use the subject printer, where Ascend can use it, and when Ascend can use it. Mudbots asked a federal judge in Utah to dismiss the Illinois company's counter lawsuit. The judge declined to do so. The Illinois company had argued that Mudbot's universal terms of purchase were unconscionable and thus unenforceable. Mudbot started business in 2020. Mudbots manufactures and sells automated robotic printers which erect buildings out of concrete. Its headquarters in Toole, Tooele, Utah, about 30 miles southwest of Salt Lake City. Mudbots began in 2020. James Lyman Ruesch, Ruesch, is the chief executive officer. He previously told the Springfield Daily Citizen that Eden Village had violated the agreement in many ways, including by allowing various media outlets to view the 3D printers in action. It only takes one picture of certain parts of our printer to save somebody in India or China 3 years of research and development, he said. They, being Eden Village, do a lot with the media, and they started showing our printer and basically breaching the contract in a myriad of different ways, he said. We reached out to them, they stopped talking to us, we could only talk to their attorney. When they came here to Utah for training, they were running their printers, their equipment, Ruesch said. It's part of our quality control, and we have a time-lapse video of a very beautiful prints that they did here under our supervision. But when they went home, all of a sudden, if you don't follow procedures, just like in an airplane, bad things are going to happen. Eden Village sued Mudbots in February 2024, alleging Mudbots has failed and refused and continues to fail and refuse to provide technical customer support and or replacement equipment as promised, and has failed and refused and continues to fail and refuse to correct the deficiencies in the function, use, and operation of the equipment sold to and paid for by Eden Village. Schuler told the Daily Citizen in February 2024, the machine does not work as promised. Mudbots says that Drury's involvement with the printers violates the agreement. Mudbots, in its countersuit, alleges that the Gathering Tree has violated the terms of its purchase agreement by sharing the 3D printer technology and the proprietary knowledge behind it with Drury University and its architecture students. In addition, the countersuit alleges that the Gathering Tree and a Drury architecture professor have created a company called Eden Building Solutions Limited Liability Company. The countersuit alleges Eden Building Solutions has allowed people to use the printers who were not allowed to do so. The countersuit states Eden Village misrepresented that Drury College would not be using a printer. Eden Village and its cohorts intentionally misrepresented to Mudbots that the printers would not be used publicly for educational purposes or used by untrained personnel, knowing Mudbots would not sell to these parties. Eden Village also intentionally misrepresented its intended use of the printers, knowing before contracting with Mudbots that Eden Village intended to lodge a printer with Drury College, i.e. Drury University, for public use and display, which college supplies Eden Village with free labor and volunteers. Eden Village and Drury were fully aware that even to explore this possibility, Eden Village and Drury would have been required to submit a separate written proposal to Mudbots. Its cutting-edge experiences for Drury architecture students. A Drury University October 3, 2024 press release quotes Tracy Scooter, professor of architecture and director of design build programs, our ongoing partnership with the Gathering Tree and now their 3D concrete printer is providing invaluable cutting-edge experiences for our architecture students that also touches the heart. The press release further states, Drury University plays a key role in supporting this effort, housing the advanced 3D concrete printers used to build affordable homes for those in need, while architecture students collaborate on the designs and the builds. The release quotes a Drury architecture student as saying, not a lot of schools have access to technology like this, so it sets us apart by giving us real-world experience and plugging us into our community. Architecture program has a history of community involvement. Eden Village 1 consists of 31 tiny homes at 2801 East Division Street. Eden Village 2 is at 3155 West Brower Street and has 24 tiny homes. The tiny homes are for the chronically homeless. Residents pay a small rent. Drury's Hammond's School of Architecture students and Suter have been involved in assisting with the 2 prior Eden Village developments. Those projects did not involve the use of high-tech 3D printers. Drury has had its architecture students participate in other projects that generally involve the public good, such as the Landscape Resilience Butterfly Garden and Overlook in Joplin's Cunningham Park. The park was dedicated on the 3rd anniversary of the devastating 2011 tornado that struck Joplin and killed 161. Litigation seems far from settled. This article about the universal terms of purchase actually started out as an answer man question for columnist Steve Pokin about why progress was happening so slowly at the construction site on West High Street. The Daily Citizen decided to also update the status of litigation involving Eden Village and Mudbots. The most recent story by the Daily Citizen was in February of 2024. Even earlier, in November of 2022, Springfield Daily Citizen reporter Jackie Rewald wrote that Schuleter hoped to be moving residents into the 3rd Eden Village by the end of 2023 or early 2024. That was 2 years ago. Dr. David and Linda Brown founded Eden Village. They often refer to it as God's project. Nevertheless, in court filings, Mudbots went so far as to challenge the very mission of the Gathering Tree. The company states, defendant Mudbots denies that Eden Village has the sole goal of ensuring no members of its community sleep outside. The legal confrontation appears to be far from resolved. A judge in Utah filed a document in January stating that the likelihood of settlement is fair and that if the matter goes to trial, the trial date will be set on March 26th of 2027. Steve Pokin writes the Pokin Around and the Answer Man columns for the Springfield Daily Citizen. He also writes about criminal justice issues. He can be reached at spokin@sgfcitizen.org. His office line is 417-837-3661. The Springfield Business Journal. Oh, that's nothing. Let me try this again. From the Springfield News-Leader, Missouri State student earns a spot in the competitive Grammy U program. Missouri State University student Rachel Robinson is making strides in the music industry by joining Grammy U, a competitive program for emerging talent. Robinson, a first-generation college student, has long been passionate about music. Her journey began in Hollister, where she wrote her first song at age 13 for a Veterans Day assembly, according to a community announcement. Despite her ambitions, the high cost of prestigious music schools initially seemed like an insurmountable barrier. Robinson found her path at Missouri State. Opting for Missouri State University proved to be a pivotal decision. Scholarships and financial support allowed her to immerse herself in music and entertainment studies without financial strain. Robinson's interest in the music industry led her to major in entertainment management. She delved into concert production, volunteered at major venues, and honed her songwriting skills. Her efforts resulted in 2 original songs being published in a national literary magazine. One of her pieces, called Someone Out There, explores themes of uncertainty and self-discovery, while Someday I'll Have It All won a 2024 National Best Song Award from the Community College Humanities Association. These achievements helped Robinson stand out in her application for Grammy U, a program run by the Recording Academy. The program connects aspiring musicians with industry opportunities, including events, mentorship from Academy professionals, and networking prospects. Being accepted feels like a turning point. It's an opportunity I've dreamed about for years, Robinson said in a statement. This story was created by Janice Reeser, J-R-E-E-S-E-R, at usatoday.co.com, with the assistance of AI. Let's see what we can find here. From the Springfield Business Journal. State offers a $267,000 to install a Route 66 sculptural monument. Springfield City Council will consider an ordinance to accept $267,000 in state funds to install an illuminated monument at an entryway of historic Route 66 into the downtown area. The Queens Gate 66 sculptural monument is designed to be nearly 20 feet tall on a 2-foot plinth. It features a central archway marked birthplace of Route 66 and topped by a radiated crown. All of this contained within a larger arch identifying Springfield, Missouri. The state funds were awarded to Visit Springfield, Missouri, and transferred to the City of Springfield for street and right-of-way improvements necessary to support the installation of the monument near the intersection of St. Louis Street and Glenstone Avenue. The proposed street improvements will ensure the site is prepared for safe installation, long-term durability, and appropriate integration into the existing roadway and right-of-way infrastructure, according to a news release from the city. Queensgate 66, designed by Kansas City-based Ferris Wheel Studios and Amy Jacobson, will serve as a gateway for Route 66 visitors. Plans call for it to be installed in time for the National Route 66 Centennial Kickoff Celebration in downtown Springfield, April 30th through May the 3rd. A public dedication of the monument will take place at 11 a.m. on Friday, May 1st. Gordon Elliott, owner of the Best Western Route 66 Rail Haven, a landmark for Route 66 travelers, provided right-of-way and additional parking at a property adjacent to the Rail Haven that he also owned to accommodate parking for visitors who want to take photos at the monument, the release states. Visit Springfield received $1 million from the state allocation to manage the Queensgate 66 project. State Senator Lincoln Hoff, a Republican from Springfield, was instrumental in securing the state allocation, according to the release. Springfield is frequently referred to as the birthplace of Route 66 because business people John T. Woodruff and Cy Avery proposed the name from the Colonial Hotel, which once stood downtown at St. Louis Street and Jefferson Avenue. Another sculpture, Ghost of the Colonial Hotel, by Spanish artist Juan Garaizabal, G-A-R-A-I-Z-A-B-A-L, is planned for the site where the historic hotel once stood. A Route 66 plaza is in the works, and his sculpture is also anticipated to be installed before the centennial celebration, according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting. All right, let's move on to, we'll talk about today's forecast from OzarksFirst.com. Spring-like temperatures to hit the Ozarks this week. For those of you who are sick of winter weather, it's time to celebrate as warmer conditions are finally returning. Now, to be clear, this is not the end of winter. Springfield is still a long way off, but we are getting a much-needed break from the bitter cold and snow. From Matt Hefner. Today, temperatures will once again climb into the upper 50s, mostly under sunny skies. Winds will be a bit breezy and will flip to the north this afternoon as a weak cold front moves through the area. This front will only be a minor hiccup in an overall warming trend. Temperatures tonight will dip below freezing for everyone across the Ozarks. Saturday will be the coldest day we'll experience for roughly the next week. With that being said, the day still looks great. Highs will rebound into the low 50s for most locations, with slightly warmer temperatures farther south. Temperatures start to skyrocket on Sunday. Highs will reach the 60s, with some spots in northern Arkansas potentially flirting with the 70-degree mark. If you're holding out for 70s, you won't have to wait long. Springfield is forecast to reach 74 degrees on Monday, which would be our warmest temperature since the Christmas heat wave. The need for rain continues to grow, and we'll have very few chances this week. Scattered to isolated showers will be possible on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Most people are expected to stay dry, but those who do see rain could pick up between 1/10 and 1/4 of an inch. Let's see. On this day in history, let's see what happened. On this day in history, there's nothing happy that happened this day in history. Let's see, Elizabeth, in 1952, Elizabeth II ascended the throne. Oh, let me go back. On this day in 1952, Elizabeth II ascended the throne of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland following the death of her father, King George VI. She became the longest reigning monarch in British history in 2015. On this day in 1945, singer-songwriter Bob Marley, who achieved stardom by blending early ska, rocksteady, and reggae, forms an electrifying rock-influenced hybrid, was born. In 1993, tennis player and civil rights activist Arthur Ashe, who was the first black man to win a Grand Slam championship, died of AIDS-related pneumonia. He had likely contracted the virus through a tainted blood transfusion received during coronary bypass surgery. Ashe was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and the Maine U.S. Open Court was named in his honor. On this day in 2014, comedian Jay Leno hosted his last episode of The Tonight Show. And on this day in 2023, Turkey and Syria were hit by a magnitude 7.8 earthquake and a magnitude 7.7 aftershock. It caused the death of more than 50,000 people. Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Come by and see us in person with daily deals at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. Veterans receive a 25% discount every day, providing significant savings as a token of appreciation for their service. Additionally, the store features weekly clothing sale where all clothing items are available at 50% off every Wednesday. Seniors aged 55 and older benefit from a 25% discount every Tuesday, making shopping more affordable for the senior community. The Blind Community Thrift Store is a spacious 17,000 square foot thrift store located in Springfield, Missouri. It holds the distinction of being the first retail store worldwide to incorporate NaviLens technology, which significantly enhances accessibility for the blind, visually impaired, and non-English speaking individuals. This innovative system enables customers to navigate around the shop with minimal assistance, fostering independence and confidence. The store operates as a nonprofit organization dedicated to generating funds that support the provision of adaptive technology and training for the blind and visually impaired community, often at little to no cost. Visitors can learn more about the organization and access its services by visiting the store in person at 2713 North Kansas Expressway, Springfield, Missouri, or by exploring the websites at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The website offers comprehensive information about the store's missions, services, and opportunities for community involvement, as well as details about the free store available to residents in the Springfield area. Okay. Now, from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Missouri Attorney General says state and feds are investigating the illegal slot machines. The joint investigation has roots in a civil jury finding that Torch Electronics, the biggest player in the market, pushed competitors out of locations by offering illegal games. The FBI, IRS, and other federal agencies are reportedly involved. There is a picture of Catherine Hanaway. She's the state's attorney general. This story is by Rudy Keller, a Missouri Independent, from the Missouri Independent. A state and federal investigation of illegal slot machines is looking at how billions, these are all in quotes, so illegal slot machines, and then the word billions is in quotes, flow from Missourians to the companies that own the games, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway told a legislative committee on Thursday. The state, at the request of federal investigators, joined the probe that has its roots in a federal civil court case where a jury found the games offered by Wildwood-based Torch Electronics are illegal gambling devices, Hanaway said. We are investigating what the operators of the games are doing, how their money is flowing, where they have locations, how many machines, so then we can go in with some enforcement action, Hanaway told the Missouri House Budget Committee. Hanaway's comments come as the House prepares to debate a bill to authorize the Missouri Lottery to license and tax similar machines known as video lottery terminals, or VLTs. The bill, which support and opposition that crosses party lines, survived a 6-5 vote Wednesday in the House Rules Legislative Committee in part because one opponent was absent. Whatever you all do as a legislature to regulate them, then we'll enforce that law, Hanaway told the committee. But right now, it's illegal, so I'm going to be going after them. The cooperative investigation began on an initiative from federal agencies, Hanaway said in response to questioning from State Representative Betsy Fogel of Springfield, the ranking Democrat of the committee. They came in and said, "Here's what we're doing. Are you doing anything?" Hanaway said. We said, "Yes, we are, and we would love to work together, so now we're working together." There is no accurate count of the number of games owned by Torch or other similar vendors in the state. Some estimates have ranged up to 25,000 machines. Torch spokesman Greg Keller said in a text that the company has not been contacted by state or federal investigators. But if we ever are, we will continue to do what we have always done, cooperate fully with law enforcement and the legislature to pass and enforce fair regulation for everyone in the industry, Keller said. Right now, we are focused on helping pass Representative Hardwick and Senator Bean's VLT bill currently before the legislature. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Missouri did not respond to an email about the investigation. Games provided to retailers by Torch and its competitors are unregulated by the state, and no report exists showing how much money is being spent on the games by consumers. The state's 13 casinos, which must report monthly totals for taxation, reported about $17 billion in bets at slot machines in each of their past 3 fiscal years, with just over 90% returned to the players. By law, slot machines in casinos must return at least 80% of the money bet as prizes. Casino profits are taxed at 21%, bringing the $364 million for public schools in the most recent fiscal year. Financial records obtained for the federal trial show that Torch Games pulled in $32 million from 2017 to 2023 at 20 locations with about 100 machines. Torch split $11 million with retailers, leaving about 65% for prizes. Hanaway said she does not have a moral objection to the games. My concern is that they are going on in the state unregulated, bringing in billions of dollars, and that we are just going to, if we continue to allow them, to just openly ignore the law and just sort of flagrantly believe that they can operate in these illegal circumstances, that we're going to get real organized crime in the state. For nearly 10 years, games the owner's claims are legal have been installed in retail locations, including bars, convenience stores, and fraternal halls. Efforts to prosecute the company that owns the game have largely failed because local prosecutors refuse to file charges in most cases investigated by the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Hanaway said the FBI, the IRS, and other federal agencies with jurisdiction over financial matters are part of the investigation because of money laundering and banking questions. Torch has used high-profile lobbyists, large political donations, contacts with prosecutors, and lawsuits against enforcement agencies to protect its market. In 2023, Hanaway's predecessor, Andrew Bailey, pulled out of defending the patrol in a lawsuit filed by Torch after accepting $14,000 in contributions for his campaign and another $12,000 for his PAC from committees funded by Torch. Last year, the company contributed just under $600,000 to 7 political action committees controlled by its chief lobbyist, former Missouri House Speaker Steve Tilley. It contributed another $60,000 directly, with $25,000 to House Speaker John Patterson's PAC supporting his bid for a seat in the state Senate, Missouri Alliance PAC, and $10,000 to State Treasurer Vivek Malik's PAC, American Promise. Committee members on Thursday wanted to know why local prosecutors have not been more active in fighting the machines. The owners of the games just came in with overwhelming force. They brought in the best lawyers in the world and just put more resources on it than a local prosecutor could respond with. Only one felony prosecution has resulted in a conviction. There has been a misdemeanor possession of a gambling device case pending in Franklin County against James McNutt, owner of the convenience store chain Midwest Petroleum, since November of 2020. In an interview with The Independent, Hanaway said her office has concurrent jurisdiction with county prosecutors on gambling laws and can better withstand being overwhelmed by very expensive lawyering. The delays are evidence of the lopsided fight, she said. If we have some combined resources in the Attorney General's office with the county prosecutors and maybe even the feds, it's going to be a fairer fight, Hanaway said. In an interview, Fogel noted that her hometown, Springfield, has banned Torch's machines and similar games as a public nuisance. There was a lot of information I wouldn't expect her to be able to share publicly if there are ongoing investigations, but I was pleased to see that she was in coordination with the federal government to crack down on these illegal machines, Fogel said. The games targeted by Hanaway are labeled as no-chance gaming by the operators and have successfully eluded a definitive prosecution. The only felony conviction in Platte County was not appealed. After years of being stymied by casino lobbyists and Torch's political strength, video lottery proponents think it is the year for passage. The state will need billions in revenue if Republicans want to keep Governor Mike Kehoe's promise to eliminate the state income tax. Replacing the untaxed and unregulated games with machines licensed by the state with mandatory 80% payouts would bring in about $350 million in revenue within 2 years, according to official estimates. The bill, sponsored by State Representative Bill Hardwick, a Republican from Dixon, passed the last stop on the way to a floor debate. The Rules Committee, only because the Vice Chairman, State Representative Don Mayhew, a Republican from Crocker, was absent. In an interview, Mayhew said his presence would not have mattered because there were other members, who he would not name, willing to change their vote to get the bill through. Mayhew and Hardwick are opponents in the GOP primary in the 16th Senate District in August. I hate the bill, Mayhew said. I hate everything about the bill. Now, in the past, I have supported VLTs, but it was always under the idea that the current things were going to go away. The 2-year allowance before existing games could not operate is too long, he said. A bill authorizing video lottery narrowly passed the House last year. Fogel, who said she will oppose the bill when it comes up for debate, said the lobbying efforts is intense and the divisions don't follow party lines. There was a lot of strong arming going on last year, and I would anticipate that to happen again this year, Fogel said. Last year's bill died in the state Senate. If the House does pass it, Senate President Pro Tem Cindy O'Loughlin said Thursday it will get a chilly reception in the upper chamber. The discussion about making illegal activities legal too often focuses on the financial benefits of taxation, O'Loughlin said. In the short time I've been here, it just seems like we have talked so many marijuana and gambling bills, and we're going to tax those, and they're going to pay for veterans' education and do all of these great things, O'Loughlin said. But no one talks about the societal cost of it and what it does to people and their families, and that's kind of my concern. From the Springfield News-Leader, Marta Mees. Greene County Sheriff's Office will film with On Patrol Live. This story was updated to include details of the signed contract. Greene County Sheriff's Office deputies are coming back to television and will be featured on Patrol Live. Greene County Commission approved a year-long contract with On Patrol Live that will document the work of GCSO deputies on live television. According to the show's website, the show is filmed in real time and airs live with a slight time delay that can range from a few minutes to up to a half hour. Law enforcement departments featured on the show are not compensated directly but do receive a licensing fee for the use of their name and logo on the show. On Patrol Live is a reality TV series that airs Friday and Saturday nights on cable and satellite channel Reels. According to the show's website, law enforcement departments featured on the show do not have any editorial control over the content, though they do have the right to review and request editing of footage that could endanger citizens. The agreement provided to the News-Leader notes that no filming would take place at the Greene County Jail. The contract stipulates that the GCSO will have 48 hours to review and comment on any pre-recorded segments for the purpose of identifying any safety or security risk to the office. For footage broadcast live, a GCSO representative will have digital access to a live feed to identify any safety concerns, though the agreement notes the producer makes final decision on the content of the series. GCSO is no stranger to being in front of the camera. The office previously participated in a Cops TV show, which airs footage long after it was recorded, and was heavily featured in the A&E reality show Live PD from 2017 to 2019. While Live PD was canceled in 2020, On Patrol Live was seen as a revival of one of A&E's highest-rated shows. However, A&E filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against Reels, alleging the new show uses nearly identical format and hosts, resulting in a settlement outside of the court, according to reporting by Reuters. Prior to the commissioner's unanimous approval of the contract, Greene County Sheriff's Captain Jason Johnson said the show was already filming in adjacent Christian County. He said, beyond providing transparency and public education about what deputies face in the field, the show will be an opportunity to provide exposure to the GCSO for recruitment purposes. Johnson shared that the Sheriff's Office currently has 9 vacancies in the Patrol Division and 27 vacancies in Detention Operation. Last year, only 3 qualified external candidates applied for patrol vacancies, he said. Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon emphasized the need for creative recruitment strategies like the live TV exposure, and as the county struggles to fill positions across different departments and is unable to keep up with competitive salaries. In its 2026 budget, the county did include a 3% cost of living adjustment for all employee pay. Dixon said that was still not adequate to make Greene County departments competitive with similar organizations. While the contract spans a year, Johnson said the county can decide to cancel it at any time with 30 days' notice. According to the agreement provided to the News-Leader, after the initial year-long term expires, it would automatically renew for another year unless either party notifies their intent to terminate the contract. If you have any story ideas for Marta Mees, she covers local government at the News-Leader. You can contact her at mmieze@news-leader.com. Let's see what else. From the Springfield Daily Citizen by Zoe McIntyre. In Christian County, residents are questioning police use of flock cameras. Flock Safety, a surveillance technology company, saw rising scrutiny from the public in 2025. Christian County residents are raising questions about flock camera for their own reasons. On Saturday morning, a gold Toyota Corolla with Texas plates entered Ozark. Inside was a 4-year-old boy reported missing from his hometown of Mansfield, Texas, over 460 miles away. The Missouri State Highway Patrol learned that his car was connected to a possible child abduction and issued an Amber Alert. Throughout the state of Missouri, people were instructed to watch for the suspect and the vehicle. However, law enforcement now has access to technology more precise, immediate, and reliable than any eyewitness reports. Flock's license plate reading cameras. Ozark is outfitted with a dozen of these cameras. Each time a person drives past one, the vehicle's license plate, model, color, and other characteristics are logged in a searchable database. Flock cameras enabled Missouri State Highway Patrol troopers to locate the kidnapping suspect, who was also a suspect in a possible Texas homicide just 8 minutes after Missourians received the Amber Alert. Ozark police recovered the boy unharmed. Christian County law enforcement officials say Flock safety technology often assists them in investigations and even helps to prevent some crimes. For instance, by notifying police when the cameras scan a stolen vehicle or car registered to a sex offender. However, critics of Flock are concerned the system could be abused to violate individuals' privacy or safety, and a growing number of people in Christian County are raising questions and making calls to elected officials about Flock. The Christian County Missouri Republican Assembly, or the MRA, hosted multiple informational meetings in January for people to learn more. How does Flock work? Flock Group Incorporated was incorporated in 2017 with an Atlanta address, according to documents from the Georgia Secretary of State's office. The company produces automated license plate readers, or ALPR, cameras, drones, sound detection devices, and surveillance software, marketing these products to law enforcement agencies, retailers, homeowners associations, and other groups. Flock has quickly grown to dominate the surveillance tech industry in the U.S., announcing a valuation of $7.5 billion in May of 2025. Flock has expanded its footprint by partnering with Axon, a company that makes police body cameras and dash cams, as well as Ring, which produces doorbell cameras. Groups that contract with Flock are heavily encouraged to opt into data sharing, which Flock describes as a collaborative effort in crime prevention. Law enforcement agencies can choose a one-to-one sharing with other agencies or join a national registry to access data from entities that contract with Flock across the United States. Private companies can enter a business network to share data with each other. Based on Flock's claim that it scans 20 billion license plates monthly, the Internet Protocol Video Market, or IPVM, estimates that the average American driver's vehicle is scanned 70 times per month by Flock cameras. The Daily Citizen obtained contracts between Flock and the Ozark Police Department, Nixa Police Department, Christian County Sheriff's Office, and the City of Fremont Hills. Each agency uses Flock's Falcon model ALPRs, paying $2,500 to $3,000 per camera per year. In Ozark, the terms of the contract is 60 months with 12 cameras, an annual expense of $34,500. Nixa Police, their term is 60 months with 4 cameras at $11,600. Christian County Sheriffs have a term of 36 months with 1 camera, annually $2,500. And the City of Fremont Hills, their contract is in effect for 60 months with 4 cameras, an annual expense of $10,000. You're definitely being watched. At the Christian County MRA's January 15th Flock Forum, visitors heard from Sheriff Brad Cole, Ozark Police Chief Justin Arnold, an IT professional who lives in Nixa named Sean Ingwerson, Ingwerson, and Camden County Presiding Commissioner Ike Skelton. Skelton read passages from a 2009 report by the Missouri Information Analysis Center on the modern militia political movement. Members of this movement commonly display pictures, cartoons, bumper stickers that contain anti-government rhetoric, as well as racial, anti-immigration, and anti-abortion messages, according to the report. If you have that stuff, you might be part of the militia. You might be part of the militia, but you're definitely being watched, Skelton said. He added that he does not trust the Missouri State Highway Patrol because the agency thinks because you have that symbol, you're part of the militia. Ingwerson said, these same organizations that consider us, in the wrong for thinking our taxes are too high or for being anti-abortionist, they also consider phrases like Christ is King as a form of terrorism. Skelton is concerned flock technology will be used in the future to detect whether people are obeying traffic laws. He argued that flock cannot be held responsible for violating individuals' Fourth Amendment rights. That's why I believe this all has to be done by the private entity, because the government wouldn't be able to get away with this if they were doing it all themselves. The Camden County official was charged with 2 felonies for tearing down a flock camera and bringing it to his office in December of 2024. The felony charges were later dropped as part of a plea agreement. In 2023, the Camden County Commission voted to ban ALPRs. Police say that flock cameras catch sex offenders and stolen cars. Ozarks police chief acknowledged that it would be possible for someone to misuse the flock system, but said misuse of any tool used in investigations would result in discipline. We treat it no differently than things like the National Crime Information Center or the NCIC, which is managed by the FBI. MULES, which is the Missouri Uniform Law Enforcement System, Arnold said. Those are all secure databases that we have access to, and we treat this in the same manner as that, so we do monitor for any misuse or abuse. ODP started using flock with cameras along Highway 65 to monitor people entering the community, Arnold explained. Then police began thinking about using flock to monitor school zones, parks, and community centers. Probably the biggest alert we get are on sex offenders who are close to our parks, sex offenders who are close to our community centers, things like that, Arnold said. Ozark police are also alerted when a stolen vehicle drives past a camera. Arnold said this helps officers take a proactive approach and apprehend people driving stolen vehicles before they commit other crimes in the community. According to Arnold and Cole, Fremont Hills was the first community in Christian County to use flock. The city entered its first contract with flock independent of law enforcement in May of 2022. Arnold and Cole stated that their agencies own data collected by the flock cameras for which they hold contracts. Under the master service agreement law enforcement agencies enter with flock, the company asserts that flock does not own and shall not sell customer data. The company typically retains data for 30 days. Critics of flock question whether the data's ownership presents a meaningful distinction in respect to mass surveillance. The IPVM argued, it is impossible for a private company to hold the data. ALPRs collect and balance the public good with financial incentives. The ACLU raised concerns about language in some agencies' contract that grant flock the worldwide, perpetual, royalty-free right and license to disclose data for investigative purposes. The information is being seized by a private corporation and held by a private corporation, Skelton said. A private corporation cannot violate your Fourth Amendment rights, so that's how the government gets around the Fourth Amendment. Other people are concerned that the technology itself is vulnerable to hacking and exploitation. My biggest issues with flock are, it's terrible technology, Ingwerson said. They're using really, really cheap Android boards to make these cameras so the OS is actually on the camera itself. They have over 60 documented security vulnerabilities on how to access the cameras. The latest flock controversy takes place in Joplin. Flock lost favor with the public in 2025 after a series of scandals made national headlines. In one case, an Illinois police department discovered out-of-state agencies were illegally accessing its data to aid immigration enforcement. A Texas sheriff's office allegedly used Flock's cameras in another instance to locate a woman while investigating the death of a fetus in a suspected abortion. The Joplin Police Department is currently investigating an officer who allegedly misused the department's Flock database. After Joplin Police Department announced its investigation of an officer who allegedly misused the Flock database, a group called DFlock Joplin released its own audit of the department based on public records request. DFlock Joplin claims one user in the police department's Flock database used the software to track 2 license plates hundreds of times each in a period of less than 1 year. Flock does not require users to submit a case number to initiate a search of the database. Users must enter a keyword with the reason for their search. DFlock Joplin claims the officer who misused the system typed in keywords like DWI and warrants. All right, what else we got? From the Springfield Daily Citizen. The 160 Grand Prix is back on the market after the owner's death. An interested buyer could claim the 9 acres of highway-facing land along with the go-karts track and other equipments. The former 160 Grand Prix property is back on the market after its most recent owner died last summer. The 9-acre tract of land at Gwynn Road and Highway 160 is listed for $900,000, including equipment and go-karts, or $850,000 on its own. The North Nixa attraction first opened in the late 1990s. Founder Lloyd Hurst closed the business in 2020 to focus on his wife as her health was declining, according to reporting from Ozarks First. Jason Madura purchased the business in 2022. Jennifer Madura, his ex-wife, explained that at least one other person unsuccessfully attempted to reopen the track after Hearst closed it. There was talk of razing the property. The 160 Grand Prix held good memories and he didn't want it to be bulldozed, she explained, adding that Jason Madura spent part of his childhood in Nixa and considers it his hometown. Madura, 43, was killed in a car crash on June 29, 2025, according to probate court documents. His mother, 3 children, and ex-wife are listed as heirs to his estate. The 160 Grand Prix property includes batting cages and mini golf holes. The former owner was in the process of expanding and modernizing the business, which was previously cash only. An interested buyer could purchase the point-of-sale system, operational equipment, go-karts, and other accessories with the property. Jennifer Madura said it's going to take someone who is extremely serious to purchase it. However, the prime real estate off Highway 160 has already received significant interest. The trust company that is managing the property received about 150 calls on the first day. The 160 Grand Prix was listed for sale, she said. The final sale of the property will need to be approved through Christian County's probate court. More information on the property can be found by contacting the realtor, who is Jeff Childs. Let's see. Find one more good article here. All right. From the Springfield Business Journal. Proposed taxing district aimed at beautification and safety for North Glenstone entrance to the city. A group of North Glenstone Avenue business owners has proposed a special taxing district to pay for beautification and security at a key entrance point to the city of Springfield. City Council heard a proposal for the North Glenstone Community Improvement District at its February 2nd meeting with a vote set for February 9th. The meeting was originally scheduled for January 26th but was postponed because of inclement weather. The CID, as proposed, would have the power to impose a sales and use tax rate at a rate of 1% on all retail sales made in the district for which the state law allows taxation. The additional CID tax would bring the taxation rate in the district to 9.1%. Amanda Olenshelen, Olenshelen, Springfield Director of Economic Vitality and Workforce Development, told Council the district is generally located along North Glenstone Avenue between Interstate 44 and East Turner Street, the intersection located a block south of Kearney Street. The proposed district comprises 48 parcels with 33 property owners on 172 acres of land, she said in a staff report on the measure. The properties comprise a mix of commercial use including retail, restaurants, and hotel. She said the proposal for a political subdivision with a 5-member board, 4 of whom can be real property or business owners in the district, and the other a Springfield registered voter who does not have financial interest or involvement in any of the business in the district. The lifespan of the district is proposed for 27 years. Some of the projects that would be supported would be beautification projects like landscaping, general cleaning, and landscaping services, as well as right-of-way improvements, security services such as security personnel, equipment, or facilities, and professional service fees to facilitate any of these projects or security services. She said more than 50% of district property owners, measured both per capita and by assessed valuation, assigned the petition to form the district, and the petition was determined to be valid by the city clerk's office. North Glenstone Avenue is the site of multiple hotels serving Springfield, and hospitality industry leaders are represented among the petitioners. Notably, for 13 of the parcels, petitions were signed by hotelier Gordon Elliott, while petitions for 6 parcels were signed by Darren Harrelson, listed on a document as Chief Operating Officer of O'Reilly Hospitality, LLC. The proposed directors for the district are the owner representatives of Harrelson, Bill Hobbs, Director of Hotel Operations of Elliott Properties Limited, and Missy Handyside, General Manager of the Oasis Hotel and Convention Center, tapped for 4-year terms. Gary Leonard, retired from Steak and Shake franchise ownership according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting, for a 2-year term, and Cameron Cassad, attorney and city representative, for a 2-year term. A 5-year budget for the district was submitted with the council bill and shows projected sales tax revenues of $1.8 million to $2 million per year. Year 1 of revenue of $1.8 million would fund $1.6 million for security, $153,000 for beautification, and $50,000 for each professional costs and other service improvements. Business owners signing on were Value Properties of Springfield LLC with 8 parcels, O'Reilly Hospitality LLC, and Campus Inc. with 3 parcels each, EAS Investment Enterprises and Quality Lodging Prop Springfield LLC with 2 parcels each, and Coach House Properties LLC, Hog House LLC, C-Store Land LLC, Green Stay Properties LLC, Anude Real Estate LLC, Diversity Commercial Investments LLC, R&R Investments LLC, Great Southern Bank, Wolverine Land Holdings LLC, OM-TM Leadership Fund LLC, Glen Kearney Development LLC, and UB Properties LLC, all with 1 parcel each. Among other businesses located in the proposed district are Kearney Street Aldi and Walmart stores. An election to approve the district would be conducted among property owners in the district, she said. She said this would be the 22nd CID in the city, and she acknowledges that security expenses are infrequently included in CID revenue purposes, though that use is also present in the downtown Springfield CID. Representing property owners in the public hearing for the CID was Corey Collins, a partner in law firm Hush Blackwell LLP. Collins said the landowners are seeking to use the CID to accomplish some goals in the area. I've worked on a lot of CIDs, and I think out of the 22 in town, there will be a lot of them that are designed more around reimbursement to someone for expenses or infrastructure or other things. This is completely and wholly, for lack of a better term, altruistic approach to it because all the money is going to be used to improve this existing district. While many CIDs exist to pay for infrastructure improvements, this one looks to improve an entry point into the city, according to Collins. Goals are security and beautification to generally create a more safe atmosphere in the area, cleaning up, hopefully to transition into creating a very nice area, he said. He said that the district is the first impression for many people arriving from I-44. Folks that come to town, one of the first places they see is North Glenstone, and we would like to make it look even better than it does today. He added that with all of the money would be paid by those using goods and services in the district and poured back into improvements in the district. We view this as a general win-win, he said. Mark Heckett, Hecquet, President and CEO of Tourism Bureau Visit Springfield, Missouri, spoke of the initiative. As we all know, Glenstone Avenue is a gateway into our city, he said. Heckett noted that on a daily basis, some 12,000 vehicles travel the route, amounting to 4.3 million visitors per year on the roadway. It is clearly one of Springfield's front doors and a gateway from I-44 into our city, he said. He added that the corridor features 28 hotels, and 18 of those are clustered in the North Glenstone I-44 gateway. This includes 2 key convention and meetings hotels, the Doubletree and the Oasis. Despite the strong lodging and entertainment offerings, the corridor suffers from aging landscape, inconsistent lighting, and visible homelessness, creating a perception gap that impacts visitors' confidence in hotel performance, he said. Heckett added that the CID's investment will ensure that the gateway will embody safety, vibrancy, and community pride. This initiative will transform the corridor into a welcoming first impression for every visitor, supporting hotels, attractions, and businesses while strengthening a sense of pride across our community. The public hearing will continue in the February 9th meeting due to an error in notifications to the property owners by city staff. She said that notifications were not sent by certified mail because of a clerical error. Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. Good? Yeah, I'm spent.